Hi, I'm Chef Julia, and today I'm going to be making some red lentils. So red lentils actually look more orange than red, and the interesting thing is they turn yellow when they're cooked. Okay, so I'm going to be adding the red lentils to this pot along with some water. And the nice thing about the red lentils is they cook really fast. So I'm going to add 3 cups of water. So the lentils are cooking, and I just wanted to mention that I did rinse them before I put them in the pot. If you don't, the water is kind of cloudy and there might be some little debris and stuff in there. So it's always a good idea to wash beans or lentils before you cook them. I rinsed them, drained them, and now they're in the pot with 3 cups of water. And I'm going to let them cook. It only takes about 15 minutes for the lentils to cook. So I'm going to put the lid on them and just let them cook for 15 minutes. And then we're going to move on to the next part of the recipe. I'm going to be adding some things to my hot skillet. I've already got it heating up. But what I've done is I've taken a green bell pepper and I've just cut the sides off, which is an easy way to do it without having to deal with the inside. And I slice those into little strips. So I take each side of the bell pepper, slice it into strips, and then I cut the strips into small pieces. So I'm really mincing it into very small pieces. And I've got a bowl of this already. Add the bell pepper to the hot pan, and you want it to sizzle because we like to get the vegetables to brown a little bit. That brings out the flavor. So in addition to the bell pepper, I'm adding shallots. Shallots look like little onions. They're kind of purple. And the neat thing about them is the inside, you can see the layers of the shallot are a lot smaller than an onion. So when they're diced up, they're really small. It's easy to dice them up so they just come into smaller pieces, and they have a really great flavor. So I'm going to add the shallots to the green peppers. And the last thing I'm going to add to this part of the recipe is a serrano pepper. Serrano peppers are kind of spicy. They're spicier than jalapenos. So if you don't like things too spicy, you can substitute a jalapeno pepper. But I think this particular pepper gives it a really good flavor. So I'm going to put that in there. And what I'm trying to do now is let this brown a little bit, and then I'm going to add some liquid to it so it will cook down a little bit. So right now I'm going to add some tomato juice. So we can saute with water, but we can also saute with any kind of liquid. We could saute with mushroom stock, vegetable stock, and in this case, since we're using some chopped up tomatoes, I have all this tomato juice here. I'm going to go ahead and put that in, because since we're not using oil, we want to use something as a liquid to be able to saute our vegetables. If we don't put anything in there and just let them saute dry, then they'll start to get a little burnt and they'll develop an unpleasant flavor. So that should be enough. I might add just a little bit more of this tomato juice. It shouldn't total more than about 1/4 of a cup of liquid. If you put too much liquid in this pan, that's not good because it will just kind of steam it all and it won't develop any great flavors. So now I'm going to put the lid on the pan and let it cook like that for 5 minutes to soften all those vegetables. Now the vegetables have cooked down, and I'm going to start adding some other ingredients. Vegetables have softened, and you can see there's even some brown bits in the bottom of the pan, which is great because that will add some nice flavor. I'm going to add some salt. It's about 1/2 teaspoon. About 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, which is going to give it a beautiful color. You can already see it's kind of golden. Mix that in, and then I'm going to add my tomatoes. And these are canned tomatoes, but you could also use just a fresh tomato. I'm going to use about 1 cup of tomato. And I'm going to let this cook down and deglaze at the same time while the tomatoes are cooking a little bit. I'm deglazing the pan, which means I'm scraping off all the things that have collected on the bottom of the pan, which is quite a bit of flavor from the browning vegetables and the turmeric and the salt. So this is ready to add to the pot of lentils. So the lentils have been cooking for 15 minutes and they're nice and soft. You can see they've cooked. Like I said, they turn kind of yellow and they soften up very quickly. Then I'm going to add this whole pot full with this pan full of tomatoes, peppers, shallots, turmeric, and salt. And I'm adding all of that to the pot of lentils. So now the lentils and the tomatoes and all the great ingredients have been cooking long enough that it's ready to eat, and we need to add a little bit of our fresh cilantro. That gives it a really nice bright flavor. And then it's ready to serve. So now I'm going to ladle it into a bowl. I'm going to garnish the soup with a little cilantro, and then it's time to eat it. There's nothing better on a cold night than a bowl of this soup. It's so spicy and full of different flavors, and it's just the best thing ever. I love it.